to understand their questions? Yeah, because they're kind of asking how many people are sick and all that stuff. Yeah. Did they ask you anything about yourself? No. Or how you felt or anything? Okay.
I don't think they asked how old you were or...
The first group asked
One group did, yeah.
But the rest didn't. And
did they ask about your parents or anything?
The first two groups did.
Okay. All right.
This group asked how long you've been sick.
Okay.
And what your symptoms were.
So
I think the frustration as a village health worker was that we got all these groups asking questions and nobody bringing us real stuff. Although this last guy did tell us to boil the water, but didn't give us any supplies or any more packets or salt.
With prompting.
yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I mean, every group has come in and said who they are, and they stand and said who they are and what they're about to do, and then they start to do it. But they don't ask us who we are, so they don't know if they're talking to official people or if they're talking to refugees or who they're talking to. So I think it's hard to relate to them as even in our own roles, because it's almost like, okay, here's who I am. Do you care about who I am?
There was one group, the red group, that came in.
Okay.
Red Rocks. I think they did a really good job at making sure that
They asked who.
they
some
asked
people have
everybody,
asked me,
who they were and
who
what
I
their
was,
roles were.
you know, what I did.
Yeah,
But one guy,
I think it was a red group.
Yeah.
yeah, and he asked what your name was, and you didn't have an answer yet.
And that was kind of tough.
That was
Kind of tough for us.
I think we needed that yet. And that was really interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah. So in real life, would it take this long to get to the simple supplies like ORS?
I think it would take longer.
Okay.
I mean,
Because everybody keeps asking questions, and not really delivering.
and it's true, they have to do the assessment, but wow, how different that would be if they would come with surplus.
Is it possible to come
With surplus.
and then go back and analyze all of the data
Yeah.
and then come back with
Because
extras
people
that they
would
need?
give you a
Like,
lot
is
of
that-
information if you had stuff. for
Yes,
them.
it would get your attention.
And it might not be correct, but we can't even give correct information because we either don't know it
Right.
or we're too tired or
Right.
we only see pieces of it. So, yeah, if they had something something concrete to offer, they might get a better response.
Yeah.
And
Something simple like ORS that's cheap and
Right.
life-saving in
Right.
a lot of refugee situations.
Yeah.
it's interesting too, none of the groups have asked us to help them count the sticks that are
Right.
around here.
Right.
And
One group did ask if you would help. No,
I think we offered.
Oh, you
We offered to help.
it, and then
We
they
offered to
said
help
they
bring
would.
supplies in,
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring us to your supplies. We'll get them here.
but they didn't have access to supplies right away, and they didn't get no timeline. So that's the other thing is there's no.
Yeah.
We're here. We're going to assess, and then we're going to get you food, and
Get the blue thing.
the needs of everybody here are immediate, and they don't have any idea when that is. And so even if they could make something up, it would give us hope.
Yeah.
But would that then ultimately breach some sort of trust? Not that there is any trusting relationship between us right now.
Right.
But if
Even if they said within 2 weeks we're gonna try, and if that doesn't happen, I'll come back here personally and tell you or whatever. But and maybe they're not able to do that. But that would
I don't know that you'd want to make a promise like that and then
can't keep it.
and then come back. I
Well,
would,
you
I
definitely
would
don't
walk
wanna,
into that
you definitely
camp.
don't want to make a promise that you can't keep.
Yeah.
right.
Not in refugee situations, but in a lot of other situations
Right.
that I've been in. That's a disaster to promise them.
Yeah. So they are doing a good job saying, I don't know when, I don't know, and I believe that that's the role they're given, because they look like they want to. They all look very sad, or they go off and count their sticks and look away if you hit them with too many questions. They have to go to where they're comfortable. So,
I agree. Everyone has been sympathetic, but very focused on getting the overall
numbers.
picture, which
The
is
counts.
what the counts here for. But the area that I would hope they might be more creative in is problem solving. So, for example, with the oral rehydration solution, it would have been really great to hear someone say, but do you have sugar, do you have salt, or we don't have any. He decided we didn't have clean water. Well, if it's not clean, is there something we can do to it, to like boil it, or is there anything that we can do just to live through the next day or two that you can think of, that after you've done your survey, what can we do differently?
With prompting, they came up. This last guy came up with boiling water, but it takes prompting. Or you asked him about that, right?
If we could boil water,
yeah,
then
you could boil water, but they don't think about that ahead of time.
And we did get offered hand sanitizer,
And hairspray.
which was all she had to offer. But it was all she had to offer.
What are we going to do with hairspray?
That is a very good question. What would you do with hairspray?
Control our hair?
Control your hair. It can also really inflame a fire.
Oh.
If you wanted to scare somebody away, you could have hairspray to, so the security people might be interested in that.
You can also kill bugs with it. You know that?
You could kill bugs with it. Yep. So hairspray wasn't a total
And you leave
loss.
them looking very stylish as they went down.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody have any other feedback? Do you have feedback from the food supply guy?
We have no food, and they're not giving us any.
And they don't have any either.
Yeah.
And just watching people navigate and negotiate that, needing to, being on sort of a deadline, needing to get information, and then being confronted with a really, really desperate refugee and a sad story, and that balance of, looking very uncomfortable, hearing it, and yet sympathetic, and yet needing to get their job done, and this is slowing them down. I can see where that would always be a problem, and that's something you could ever look away from when you're there, and that you shouldn't, and to try and make those connections.
Somebody coming.
Okay, gotta go.